Mr. José Manuel Soria is the Spanish Minister of Industry, Energy and Tourism, a position to which he was appointed in 2011. Prior to that, he was in 1995 appointed or won the elections to become the mayor of Las Palmas de Gran Canaria. And subsequently, in 2003, he became the president of the Cabildo de Gran Canaria and a member of the Canary Island Parliament. Mr. Soria.
Thank you very much, Javier, Excellency, Councillor, Trade Commissioner, Commissioner for Economy of the State of New York. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning to everyone. It is a real great pleasure for me to be here today and to have the opportunity to participate in this opening session of the second forum organized by the U.S. and Spain Chamber of Commerce. I would like, first of all, to congratulate the Chamber of Commerce because of, first, it's 55 years already working towards the strengthening of the bilateral relations between the United States and Spain. I want to congratulate all of you as well because of the opening of the new office yesterday in Wall Street. And congratulate you as well because of the key role you have played during all this year in order to foster those bilateral relations between Spain and the United States. I appreciate very much your kind invitation to be here today, and I'd like to make some comments about the bilateral relations in general terms between the United States and Spain. And second, I'll make some comments about the current situation of the economy in Spain, what things we have been doing during the last 2 years, what have we been doing since we are in office, what are we doing now, and what is expected to be done by the government during the next few months. First of all, I'd like to say that this Spain Business Forum, I believe it's an excellent platform to strengthen our bilateral relations. The United States is a strategic partner for Spain, both from the political and economical point of view, but as well from a bilateral and multilateral point of view. There is a fluid economic cooperation in international forums such as the IMF or the G20 between the US and Spain. And we have been able to reach key agreements for stability and governance of the global economy. Concerning our bilateral investments, they have been increasingly important, above all during the last 2 years. The United States appear to be the third destination of the whole Spanish direct foreign investment abroad. The United States represents 14% of the whole Spanish direct investment. Spain is the 11th foreign investor in the United States. An increasing number of investments in recent years by Spanish companies have been made in different sectors in the United States, from financial services to commerce to fashion to electric power, logistic construction, civil engineer, aerospace or ICTs. More than 700 Spanish companies in the United States are giving or are reflecting in about 78,000 employees in this country. At the same time, the United States is the second largest foreign investor in Spain. 14% of the whole foreign direct investment in Spain comes from the United States. About 700 US companies are operating in Spain, which with about 160,000 jobs in our country. There is an increasing interest in Spain by the US investors. And US productive investment has an increase of 50% during the year 2013 if compared with the previous year, 2012. But it's not only a question of increasing the productive investment. At the same time, there is an increased interest of the US investors in Spanish debt. In the latest Spanish Treasury emissions, again, big US funds have been present. We understand this attitude as an increase in the confidence and credibility of our economy within the U.S. investors. Concerning our bilateral trade, the U.S. is the first destination of Spanish exports outside the European Union. 11% of all our non-European exports come to the U.S. The U.S. is one of our main suppliers. 14% of all our non-European imports are coming from the United States. In both ways, we are mainly trading in chemicals, industrial technologies, ICTs, raw materials, environmental and energy products, and agro-food products. Trade balance is slightly in favor of the United States, although trends point to an equilibrium in the trade relations. As regards to trading services, there are significant potential to grow. Spain is the 8th world's largest exporter of commercial services. Spain has the 3rd position by international tourist receipts, 60.6 international visitors during 2013, which is the 3rd position all over the world concerning international visitors after France and after the United States. Our increase in 2013 has been of about 6% in the number of tourists, but we have had a decrease in 2013 of 3.6% concerning the tourists coming from the United States. We have passed from 1.23 million to 1.19. There is therefore space enough to improve in this field. Most of the United States tourists to Spain are of about 24 to 44 years old. More than 80% goes to Catalonia, to Madrid, and to Andalusia. Madrid and Barcelona are directly connected with 10 U.S. cities all over the year, which means about 40,000 seats per week, still few if we want to increase the arrivals of American tourists. Expected a good performance concerning 2014, according to the tour operators' information we have. Coming from the northwest coast of the United States, Los Angeles, northeast coast from New York, southeast from Miami, and from the medium west, Chicago. The biggest competitor for us concerning the American tourist is the global and domestic market here in the United States. It is incredible high percentage of the people that only travel inside the United States. Mexico and Canada appears as well as non-European competitors. Spain is the 5th European destination for the US tourist after UK, Italy, France, and Germany. Many things, therefore, to be done. Let me refer now to some aspects of the situation of the current Spanish economy. 2 years ago, when we got to office, we had several imbalances in our economy. We had a level of risk which was over 600 basic points. It was in the month of July of 2012, 639. Our international financing cost was over 7%. It reached about 7.5%. We were having a decrease, a clear decline in the foreign investment coming to Spain. Our public deficit at the end of 2011 was 9.3%. It means a 50% more than the objective we had within the European Union. Our balance of payments had a negative trend. We were in a clear recession during more than 9 quarters. The unemployment was unsustainably high, and we had a very high level of debt of families, enterprises, and public administrations. I mean, most of the people, when we're talking about Spain 2 years ago, were just asking, what is the government waiting for to ask for a bailout? Why the government has not asked yet for a bailout? Because the government is not going to be able to sustain this economy without a bailout. So we had no chance at the beginning of these terms. We had a general elections, as you know, in the month of November 2011, and the government, the party sustaining the government, had a very clear and big majority, and we understood that majority was to do what the government was supposed to do. We knew from the very beginning that things we had to do were not going to be easy at all. We knew were going to be tough things, but we had no chance. So we designed an economic policy which was based basically in three main pillars. First of all, a strong and deep fiscal consolidation process. Secondly, in a deep process of structural reforms. And thirdly, in a very deep and clear bet for a more union in the European community. Well, we've been in office already for 2 years. And as Ambassador Solomon has said, there is still more to do. And it's true, because still in our economy we have serious imbalances. We have a very high level of unemployment, and still there are credit restrictions for companies, above all for small to medium enterprises. But although that is real, and no way to deny what is the reality, we have to bear in mind as well that if concerning the evolution of unemployment, last active population poll, which was referred to the first quarter of this year, 2014, shows that there is a decrease in unemployment and there is an increase in the level of employment. There is a decrease at the same time at the occupied people. And it is true that the level of occupied people has been decreasing poll by poll since 2008. But the decrease in the last poll has been the smallest since year 2008. It means, from the point of view of the tendency, we have a slight improving in the last one. Last monthly registered unemployment data, which was appeared yesterday morning, shows that in Spain, in the month of April this year, we have an increase in 134,000 people in the social security. We have at the same time 112,000 people new employed, and we are having 7,000 fixed contracts every day in Spain. That is what shows the last registered figure we have from yesterday morning, refer to the month of April. Concerning to the credit restrictions, the global credit volume still has not recovered in Spain. But in the month of March 2014, compared to the same month in the previous year, we can realize an increase of 40% in the real estate credits. We can realize an increase of 5% in the credits to the small to medium enterprises. And we can realize an increase of 26% in consumption credits. So something is moving. There has been at the same time a decrease in the global debt of 5.4% in the month of March this year compared to the month of March 1 year before. And there has been as well a decline in the family debt of 6.5% compared to the same month in the previous year. But in spite of all those difficulties concerning employment and credit, we can see clearly positive signs in our economy. Our level of risk has decreased more than 75% during the last 2 years. So we have passed from a level of 639 down to a level that was yesterday in 152. We have decreased, and we have seen a decline as well in the international financial cost of our economy of more than 50%, because it has come down from more than 7% down to something around 3%. Our balance of payments now, it's in a positive trend, both because of the good performance of the exports of goods, and as well because we have been having extraordinary good tourist years. But it's the very first time in our economic history, because I mean, some other times of our history, of course, we have been having changes from a negative sign to a positive sign, the balance of payment. But it's the very first time in which we have that kind of change without a devaluation in our exchange rate. Why? Because the fact that it's explaining the increasing in competitiveness of our economy nowadays is not a devaluation of our exchange rate. It's an internal devaluation which has been created by some structural reforms, above all the labor reform, which has resulted in a better position in terms of labor unitary cost. And that is explaining to a great extent why some multinational companies, global industrial companies, are coming back now to Spain to locate their industrial activity, when at the same time these global companies have, for example, automotive factories in Spain, in France, in Germany, in Poland, in Czech, in Italy, but they have been choosing Spain because of that increase in competitiveness. So therefore, the increase in competitiveness has resulted in increase in exports at the same time. And of course, the good performance of tourists, which, as you know, it's the very first sector in our economy. 11 out of 100 euros produced in Spain comes directly from the tourist sector. We have been having more than 60 million tourists last year. Domestic tourism is having a recovery as well during the last 5 to 6 months. But, for example, in countries such as the United States, there is much to do. That's why one of the reasons I'm here these days is to be in touch as well with some tour operators and travel agencies here in New York. So foreign investors are coming back. They are productive investments, and they are coming back to invest in infrastructure, in industrial shipyards, automotive industries, in ICTs, in agro-food, and some others. So nobody speaks today about the bailout in Spain. Everybody speaks in Spain about our recovery. Even we are listening now, but not in Spain, abroad. Some people talking about Viva España, or some people talking about Spain, the new Germany. I don't think we have to, pay so much attention to that kind of sentences, but we have to think that the policy, the economic policy we were saying before, based on a fiscal consolidation process, in the structural reforms, and in a strong bet for more economic union, is giving the result. It has not been easy at all, because, as you can easily imagine, to make a labor reform as the one the government has made, which, for some people in Spain is too much, but for other people, we have been a bit short. But in any case, the result is that after the labor reform, we had 2 general strikes in Spain. So it hasn't been easy. It hasn't been easy either to make a financial and banking reform, which nowadays have proven to have better banks in Spain. And I can assure you, it has not been easy at all to make a deep energy reform, because one of the main constraints we had and we have still in our economy is that the prices of the energy have been increasing to a rate of about 7% during the last 10 years. Nowadays, Spain has the most expensive energy prices in whole Europe, making exception of Cyprus, Malta, Ireland, and some other country. And therefore, that's one of the biggest restrictions we have today to compete for our industry. That's why we have been taking some measures, of course, very difficult measures. They are measures which have not liked anybody in the sector, but we had no chance, because the only chance was to go on increasing prices and to go on losing competitiveness for our industry. Nothing happens, as you know, by itself. There has been a clear economic policy. We have believed in our strengths. If we are here now, and if we are better than we were 1 year ago, than we were 2 years ago, it's because the whole Spanish society has made a huge effort to be here. And I can assure you, Spain, it's a great country. It's, of course, we all know it's nice weather, fantastic food, gastronomy, fabulous restaurants, nightlife, but above all, it's a really good country because we have been able to look over the topics. And to look over the topics means to realize that many things have been changing in Spain, many things are changing, and much more things are to change in the future. We have global players in ICTs, we have global players all over the world in energy as well, in renewables, in textile, in banking, in tourism, in infrastructure. We have one of the most important languages of all the world, increasingly important as well here in the United States, increasingly important here in this magnificent city. We are in a world of economy of full opportunities. Maybe something we would have to learn to trust a bit more, we, the Spanish, in ourselves and in our own strengths. Thank you very much indeed.